Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, the king and the queen invited all the kingdom's fairies to their palace, to celebrate the birth of their beloved, Briar Rose. After the feast, the fairies walked to the baby princess's cot to bestow on her the most precious virtues. One gave her kindness, one intelligence, another beauty, and so on. Before the last fairy could present her gift to the princess, the sky darkened all of a sudden. An evil fairy, who had not been invited to the banquet, appeared in the hall. Waving her magic wand, she shouted, "Here's my gift, dear king and queen. The princess will die in 15. A spindle will prick her finger, and she will be gone forever." Then she disappeared in a cloud of smoke. The king and queen were anguished by the deadly curse, but the good fairy said, "The evil fairy's curse I cannot reverse, but I can make it such that the girl shall not die. Instead she'll lie in deep sleep till her true love awakes her with a tender kiss." Despite the fairy's promise, the king still ordered that all the spindles in the kingdom be destroyed. Years went by and Briar Rose grew up, beautiful, kind and virtuous. When the day of her 15th birthday arrived, nobody remembered the cruel fairy's curse any longer. Her parents were away from the castle and the princess looked for an activity to occupy herself. Suddenly she came across a steep and narrow staircase which she had not noticed before. And taken by an irresistible curiosity, she decided to climb it and see where it led. Arriving at a small door, Briar Rose opened it and found an old lady spinning at the wheel, holding a spindle. Having never seen those instruments, the girl exclaimed, "Hello, old granny. I was just passing by. What are you doing? Could you let me try?" The old woman, who was actually the evil fairy, answered, "Come in, my dear girl. I was just spinning. Try. Go ahead. It'll be a new beginning." Briar Rose stretched out her hand to the spindle and pricked her finger. Immediately she fell on the floor senseless. Then, the wicked fairy cackled horribly and, again in a cloud of smoke, she disappeared. As soon as the news reached them, the king and the queen rushed back to the castle, but it was already too late. The cruel prophecy of the evil fairy had come true. So the princess, still beautiful, even in deep slumber, was laid on a bed made of gold. The good fairies rushed to the palace too. While they were trying to comfort the king, the queen and the court, one of them proposed, "If the princess wakes up alone and without any of her own, she'd be frightened, in despair. But if I put you all to sleep for as many years to keep in her happiness, you'd share." The king and queen wholeheartedly agreed to the suggestion. So the fairies put to sleep every person, object and animal, from the royals to the footmen, from the courtiers to the scullery maids, from the animals to even water in the well, so that it wouldn't dry. Then, with their magic wands, they touched some briars which grew and surrounded the castle, almost entirely hiding it from sight. As the years went by, the legend of the beautiful sleeping princess spread to the surrounding kingdoms. Valiant princes and noble knights attempted to reach her and awake her. But the briars that had grown around the walls of the castle were impenetrable. 100 years passed and a brave prince from a faraway land arrived in that kingdom. A local old man told him, according to the legend, a cruel and wicked spell cast on a pretty princess, who in that castle dwells, has kept her sleeping deeply for, now, 100 years. At these words the valiant prince became fired with enthusiasm, and swore that he would rescue the unfortunate princess from the spell. As soon as the young man drew his sword to cut a passage through the briars, they themselves opened a way before him. Arriving at the castle's gates, the prince entered the main courtyard without even a scratch. Much to his surprise, he found humans and animals lay everywhere, all fast asleep, cooks and servants, dogs and doves. The prince wandered about the palace until he reached the room where Briar Rose was sleeping. He was struck at first sight by the gentleness and beauty of her angelic face and walked up to her golden bed. Then he bent over and laid a tender kiss on the girl's lips. At once Briar Rose opened her eyes. Then the prince asked Briar Rose to marry him and she agreed joyfully. With the blessings of their parents, the couple got married and lived for many years, ruling wisely, under the protection of the good fairies. The end. Thank you for watching.